The shocking new theory surrounding Princess Diana's death has sent ripples through both the public and the royal family. For years, her death was believed to be the result of a tragic car accident. However, a recent explosive claim suggests that her death may have been a carefully orchestrated murder carried out by the British government. This sensational allegation has raised many questions, leaving authorities scrambling to investigate the possibility of a cover-up that could expose more than just a single tragedy. The tragedy of Princess Diana's death has always been a subject of intrigue and mystery, but now, decades later, a new narrative is taking shape. Alongside this startling claim, tensions within the royal family have begun to surface. Several members are reportedly defying tradition, breaking from the norms they once adhered to, and showing signs of dissatisfaction with their roles. This new wave of royal defiance is uncovering long-buried secrets, especially concerning Diana. Her life, filled with hardship and emotional turmoil, and her premature death continue to hang over the monarchy, leaving the public craving answers. And now, with such a dramatic revelation emerging, it begs the question, what other long-hidden secrets may be on the verge of being exposed? Diana's own life was no stranger to conflict. Recent developments have brought her struggles with love and loyalty back into the spotlight. An old letter, once thought to be lost, has resurfaced, and it hints at a secret that could potentially rock the monarchy to its foundation. This letter has reignited conversations about Diana's relationship with Prince Charles, their troubled marriage, and the deep personal toll it took on her. With these revelations, we are now left to wonder, what did Diana know that the royal family was trying to conceal? Born on July 1st, 1961, into a family of noble descent, Diana Spencer was known for her quiet, reserved nature. Her life would change forever when she was introduced to Prince Charles in 1980. Diana's older sister, Lady Sarah Spencer, had briefly dated Charles in the late 1970s, but after she publicly stated she would never marry him, the door was opened for Diana. She and Charles began their own romance, one that quickly became the subject of intense public fascination. Despite the 13-year age gap between them, Diana and Charles soon became an inseparable pair. However, Diana's excitement was tinged with unease. From the very beginning, she felt unsettled by Charles's lingering feelings for his former lover, Camilla Parker Bowles. Diana soon realized that, even though Charles was with her, he remained emotionally attached to Camilla, a fact that only deepened her insecurities. Diana later admitted that she often questioned Charles's commitment to her, especially after overhearing him tell a friend that he would always love Camilla. When their engagement was publicly announced, Diana held on to the hope that the doubts and insecurities would fade. But a public interview with Charles left her shaken. When asked if he truly loved Diana, Charles gave a vague and distant response saying, "Whatever love means," leaving Diana to wonder if he was truly invested in their relationship. Despite these doubts, the weight of royal pressure and her own inexperience led her to push aside her misgivings. On July 29, 1981, Diana and Charles were married in an extravagant ceremony at St. Paul's Cathedral. Dubbed the Wedding of the Century, over 750 million people worldwide tuned in to witness the grandeur, as Diana walked down the aisle in a stunning ivory silk gown with a 25-foot train. More than 3,500 guests, including world leaders, royals, and celebrities, gathered to celebrate what seemed like the perfect royal union. But beneath the pageantry, there were deep cracks in the marriage that would soon become impossible to ignore. Soon after the wedding, it became public knowledge that Charles was still involved with Camilla, a revelation that devastated Diana. This betrayal, coupled with the immense pressure of her royal duties, left Diana feeling isolated and alone. The public viewed their marriage as the epitome of fairy tale romance, but Diana's reality was far darker. She found herself struggling with feelings of neglect, loneliness, and confusion as she realized that Charles's heart belonged to someone else, even before their marriage officially began. As new allegations about Diana's death continue to surface, the royal family is once again forced to confront uncomfortable truths from their past. The claim that Diana was murdered has stirred up long-held suspicions, but it's just the beginning. What other hidden stories from the royal family's past might soon come to light? And how will these revelations change our understanding of Princess Diana's life, her struggles, and the devastating circumstances surrounding her death? The struggle for affection in her marriage with Prince Charles was never more evident than in Princess Diana's own words during a famous 1995 BBC Panorama interview. As she opened up about her marital difficulties, she revealed how she constantly felt overshadowed by Camilla Parker Bowles, even though she had tried so hard to win Charles's love. Despite her efforts, it seemed that Camilla's presence loomed over her relationship, and this tension became one of the most painful elements of Diana's life. In her interview, Diana spoke candidly about the emotional toll of being in a marriage where she felt ignored and neglected. She longed for Charles's affection, but received little in return. Diana revealed the lengths she went to just to seek his attention. One of the most heartbreaking moments occurred while she was pregnant with their first child, Prince William. Overcome with emotional pain and feeling utterly alone, Diana threw herself down the stairs at Sandringham, hoping Charles would show concern. Sadly, he barely reacted to her cries, adding to the deep sense of isolation she felt in their relationship. Although the baby was unharmed, the incident was a stark reminder of the emotional struggles Diana faced in her marriage. Diana's pain was compounded by her awareness of Charles's ongoing relationship with Camilla. She openly acknowledged that their marriage felt like it had three people in it, a painful admission of the emotional betrayal she endured. Even as her marriage continued to unravel, Diana did her best to salvage what was left, all the while coping with public scrutiny and the weight of royal expectations. Despite her private suffering, she sought solace in her charity work, which allowed her to gain public recognition and respect for the causes she championed. But the challenges didn't end there. As Diana's marriage fell apart, she clung to her public duties, which gave her a sense of purpose and connection. Yet at home, she continued to face daily struggles, both emotionally and mentally. She fought against the growing sense of loneliness, even as the world saw her as a beacon of hope and compassion through her charitable efforts. By 1992, the couple separated, and by 1996, they were officially divorced. During this tumultuous period, Diana faced immense pressure, both publicly and privately, trying to balance her royal responsibilities with her personal heartbreak. Through it all, Diana's story became a testament to resilience as she navigated a marriage full of betrayal, public scrutiny, and a desperate search for love and acceptance. Even as her marriage crumbled, she continued to give back to the world, showing that despite the personal heartache, she could still make a difference in the lives of others. But beneath the public facade, her struggles were deeply felt, and the toll on her emotional well-being was impossible to ignore. Diana's marriage to Charles was filled with challenges, and despite her best efforts to save their relationship, the deep bond between Charles and Camilla made reconciliation impossible. When their divorce was finalized, Diana had to accept the harsh truth. She would never win back Charles's love. The emotional scars from their rocky marriage remained, but they also made her stronger, more independent, and more resilient. In the aftermath, Diana's focus shifted toward raising her two sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, and continuing her humanitarian work. These roles gave her a sense of purpose and fulfillment, and over time she became beloved around the world as the people's princess. However, the constant media attention became a dangerous element in her life. Paparazzi followed her everywhere, robbing her of privacy and peace of mind. Despite the pressure, Diana remained committed to her causes and to her family. But the intrusion from the press was relentless and only intensified as time went on. On the fateful night in Paris, Diana and Dodi Fayed were staying at the Ritz Hotel, owned by Dodi's father. After spending the evening there, they attempted to leave quietly, hoping to avoid the ever-present paparazzi. They slipped out through the back of the hotel, heading to Dodi's apartment in Paris. Unfortunately, the photographers quickly realized their plans and began to pursue them. In the car with them was Henry Paul, the temporary head of security at the Ritz, who was driving, and Trevor Rees-Jones, Dodi's personal bodyguard. Despite their efforts to escape, the photographers continued to chase the car, escalating the situation even further. The pursuit became more aggressive, and the car, a black Mercedes, sped through the streets, trying to outrun the photographers. As the car raced toward the Alma Tunnel under the Alma Bridge, disaster struck. Going at an estimated 65 mph, the car crashed into a pillar with devastating force. Dodi Fayed and Henry Paul were killed instantly, while Diana, though critically injured, was still alive. Emergency responders arrived quickly and transported her to the Pitié-Salpêtrière hospital, a journey that took nearly 2 hours. Despite their best efforts, she passed away a few hours later. Trevor Rees-Jones, the bodyguard, survived but was severely injured, facing a long road to recovery. The investigation into the crash revealed some shocking details. French authorities discovered that Henry Paul had been drinking, with his blood alcohol level 3 times over the legal limit. This was identified as the main cause of the crash. Additionally, it was revealed that none of the passengers, except for Rees-Jones, had been wearing seatbelts, which significantly reduced their chances of surviving the crash. Diana's death sent shockwaves through the world. While she was admired for her beauty and elegance, it was her kindness, her humanitarian work, and her ability to connect with ordinary people that made her beloved by many. When she passed away, millions around the world mourned her loss deeply. It wasn't just the loss of a princess. It was the loss of someone who had touched lives in ways that few others could. Amidst the grief, there was also anger, particularly directed at the paparazzi. Many people felt that the relentless pursuit of Diana had directly contributed to her death. The incident raised important questions about how the media treats public figures and what boundaries should be respected in the pursuit of a story. These questions continue to be part of the conversation around the ethics of journalism today. One of the people most affected by Diana's death was her butler, Paul Burrell. Having worked for her for more than 10 years, Burrell's relationship with Diana had grown far beyond that of a typical boss and employee. Burrell, a young man from a working-class family in Derbyshire, England, had witnessed Diana's most personal and vulnerable moments. For him, her death was not just the loss of an employer, but the loss of a dear friend. As a child, Paul Burrell's dream of working for the royal family began during a visit to Buckingham Palace, where he watched the changing of the guard. That moment planted the seed, and from then on, he knew he wanted to be a part of the royal household. At 18, his dream became a reality when he landed a job as a footman at Buckingham Palace. He quickly proved himself to be hardworking and professional, earning the respect of everyone around him. In 1987, Burrell's role expanded when he became Queen Elizabeth II's personal footman. As time went on, his duties grew even more important, especially after the Queen and Prince Charles separated in 1992. His job evolved into supporting the Queen on a deeper level, and he eventually became not only her butler, but also her personal assistant, managing her household and traveling with her on numerous trips. The bond between them strengthened over the years, and Burrell wasn't just an employee, he became one of her most trusted friends. Burrell was there during some of her toughest moments, providing support when she faced the pressures of royal life, media scrutiny, and focusing on her charitable endeavors. He admired her deeply for her compassion and dedication to helping others. However, when news of her tragic death reached him in 1997, it shattered him. He was on vacation in Italy at the time, and the grief that followed completely consumed him. Having spent so much of his life supporting her through her struggles, he was left to wonder, years later, if being there that night could have made a difference in preventing her death. In the wake of her passing, Burrell became a central figure in preserving Diana's legacy. He wrote several books about their close relationship, including A Royal Duty and The Way We Were, sharing intimate details of their time together. While many appreciated his efforts to honor her memory, his books drew criticism, particularly from the royal family, who felt he was revealing too much about Diana's private life. Despite the backlash, Burrell defended his actions, saying he wrote the books out of loyalty to Diana, believing the public deserved to know the truth about her life. For Paul Burrell, Diana's death was not just a professional loss, but a deeply personal one. She wasn't just his employer, she was a close friend, and losing her was a turning point in his life. In the years following her death, Burrell became the caretaker of her memory, ensuring her legacy would not fade. However, his life took another drastic turn in 2002 when he found himself embroiled in a high-profile legal case. Burrell was accused of stealing more than 30,000 items from Diana's estate, including personal letters, photographs, clothing, and valuable gifts. The accusations followed a police search of his home, where many of her belongings were found. He was arrested and charged with theft, facing the possibility of a long prison sentence. The case quickly became a media sensation, with the press scrutinizing every detail. Doubts about Burrell's intentions were widespread, but he consistently maintained his innocence. He claimed that the items in question had not been stolen, but were instead entrusted to him by Diana herself. According to him, she had asked him to keep her personal belongings safe, worried that they might be misused after her death. In November 2002, Burrell stood at the center of a major trial, with the world's media paying close attention. The case unfolded in the public eye, with every development analyzed and discussed. It became a defining moment in Paul Burrell's life. A man once deeply loyal to the royal family, now at the center of a legal battle that would change everything. A key moment in the trial came when Queen Elizabeth II unexpectedly revealed that Paul Burrell had informed her he was holding on to some of Princess Diana's personal items after her death. This new information stunned everyone, as it had never been brought up before in the trial. Up until that point, Burrell had been accused of stealing valuable items from Diana's estate. Items such as a model boat, a bracelet, earrings, and a diamond flower. The prosecution argued that Burrell had no right to possess or sell these belongings, which had belonged to Diana, Prince Charles, and their son, Prince William. Burrell, however, maintained that he was simply holding on to these items with the intention of eventually returning them to Diana's family. But he had no concrete proof to support his claims, which weakened his defense at first. Then, the Queen's revelation changed everything. She confirmed that she was aware of Burrell's actions and had no objections to him keeping the items. This new piece of information suggested that Burrell had received some level of approval from the Queen herself, which directly contradicted the accusations being made against him. The courtroom was shocked by this revelation, and it quickly led to the dismissal of all charges. The trial ended abruptly, leaving many stunned by the unexpected turn of events. Despite the charges being dropped, Burrell's reputation had already taken a significant hit. The case had attracted a lot of media attention, and public scrutiny of the royal family's private lives intensified. The entire situation underscored the immense influence the royal family could have over legal matters, particularly when unexpected facts came to light. After the trial, Burrell chose to tell his side of the story. He sold his account to a newspaper for a significant amount of money, sharing his version of events with the public. In contrast, other royal staff, who had faced similar accusations in the past, chose to remain silent, focusing on their loyalty to the royal family rather than seeking attention. Burrell's decision to speak out was controversial, but it brought renewed attention to the case. Following the trial, an internal investigation was launched to review how the legal and procedural steps in the case had been handled. A former police chief was tasked with leading the review, with the goal of learning from the trial and improving the way future cases involving royal staff would be managed. This review was prompted by the dramatic nature of the case and the surprises that had emerged during the trial. Even after his acquittal, Burrell's involvement in Diana's story didn't end. He remained loyal to her memory, continuing to share details about her life and her death. In interviews and in his books, Burrell spoke about how Diana had been fearful for her safety in the months leading up to the car crash in Paris that ended her life. He claimed that Diana had written to him, expressing her belief that powerful people were plotting against her, even suggesting that a car accident might be staged to kill her. Burrell insisted that Diana genuinely believed that her outspoken views and humanitarian efforts had made her a target. These claims reignited debates about the circumstances surrounding Diana's death, which had previously been considered a tragic accident. Burrell's words led many to question if there was more to the story than the public had been told. Some wondered if powerful forces had been behind her death, but despite Burrell's claims, there remained significant skepticism about his version of events, with many questioning whether he was telling the full truth or simply trying to keep himself in the spotlight. The tragic events of that night in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel, where Diana's driver, Henry Paul, was speeding and under the influence of alcohol, shocked the world. The crash that followed, which claimed the lives of Diana and her companions, became a defining moment in history, leaving unanswered questions that continue to stir controversy. The legacy of Princess Diana continues to captivate people's hearts and minds, and recent statements from her former butler, Paul Burrell, have reignited the debate over the true circumstances surrounding her death. In 2008, an official investigation concluded that Diana's tragic death was the result of her driver's mistakes, combined with the relentless pursuit of paparazzi. Yet Burrell's claims have led many to question whether the full story has ever been told, keeping the mystery surrounding that fateful night very much alive. Some still wonder if her death was more than just a simple accident. No matter the cause of her death, however, Princess Diana will always be remembered for her unwavering compassion. She dedicated much of her life to supporting the marginalized and vulnerable. One of her most memorable moments came in 1987 when she made headlines worldwide by shaking hands with an AIDS patient in full view of the public without wearing gloves. At the time, the world was still gripped by fear and confusion about the virus, but Diana's gesture helped challenge the widespread misconceptions about how HIV/AIDS was transmitted. Her bravery didn't stop there. In 1997, Diana once again captured global attention, this time walking through an active minefield in Angola to raise awareness about the devastating impact of landmines. Her actions were instrumental in the eventual signing of the Ottawa Treaty, which banned the use of these dangerous weapons. Her commitment to humanitarian causes was unwavering, and she became a symbol of courage and kindness on the world stage. Princess Diana's influence extended beyond her charitable work. She didn't just save lives, she reshaped how the world thought about some of its most critical issues. Her bold stands on HIV/AIDS awareness and the global fight against landmines have left a lasting imprint, inspiring compassion and action that continues to resonate today. What do you believe was Princess Diana's most impactful moment? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more discussions on influential historical figures.